Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today we have Tom Kong Watson get ready to fight Chris Camozzi coming up here on UFC Fight Night 73, August 8th, Nashville, Tennessee. Tom, you rain closed. You're in California, and then I found out through the grapevine you've moved to Florida and with the Black Zillions. Like,
yeah,
how did that? I mean, that's like a weird jump to go from hanging out with Cummings and Munoz out in California to hanging out with Rashad and the rest of the guys who are Black Zillions.
Well, it's weird, but to me it wasn't really that weird in that I came to the Black Zillions maybe 4 years ago, 2011, pretty much when they just started, because I knew Rashad from Jackson's. And I came out there when he fought Phil Davis. And I just came out there to basically hang out in Florida for 5-6 weeks. I just had a back operation and just, see what was going on. And then I ended up moving to California. And then, as you mentioned, when the gym closed with rain, I was kind of stuck living in Orange County, and I felt that I was already driving to LA for kickboxing. Was a good hour drive, and I didn't really know where to go. So I tried Alliance, which then meant I would be driving almost 2 hours south and then north again. And, just at Alliance, I felt Alliance was a great gym, but they just didn't have enough bigger guys. So I didn't want to take a next fight in the UFC and be like jumping around. No, I'm training here and this and that. And okay, a few guys are going to Ruka, a few guys are going here. And I thought, I can't be doing that. So I tried to think in my head, where could I go? And, I liked Florida. I liked what they were doing. I think a lot of the, even what they're doing now with hiring Neil, as a grappling coach now, and the coaches they already have, I like Henry a lot, and George as well, Santiago, and those. So I thought, I'm going to come out here, and I came out here for 2 weeks to try it, and basically straight away said, okay, I'm going to move here and just stay here.
So you came out for 2 weeks to try it. Did you have to go back to LA to close up your apartment and move all that stuff out, or did you just?
Luckily, no, because my friend who I used to live with had most of the stuff in the apartment, so literally all I had to do was sell a bed and a few, clothes and whatever else I just brought with me. So I didn't have that much stuff to get rid of, so it wasn't that hard a move for me.
Now you're there. How long have you been to the Black Zillions now? Besides that 2 weeks,
I'm gonna say 8 weeks, maybe.
Okay. So you've had a full training camp.
Yeah, I've done a full. I mean, when I came here, I didn't have a fight. And then literally after 2 weeks of being here, they gave me a fight.
So usually what happens with fighters, they change training camps, and that first fight out, it's very difficult. You have different voices in your head, not just the regular voices in your head, voices actually from behind you in the corner that are, you have different training partners, you have a different feel, it's a different look, it's a different warm-up process. They don't know you very well. You might like these guys and be friends with them, but they don't know you in a training situation like you've been in. So what's it been like trying to get everyone to kind of get comfortable together, while you're training out there? Because you really got to be comfortable to get ready, to get punched in the face for a living.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult, but I think I'm pretty well prepared for that, in that I've already been so many places anyway. I think I've already trained TriStar, Jackson's, out in California at many gyms, now Black Zillions, so. Plus a lot of places in England, different places. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to be friends with someone. I don't need to know someone. It's like the training here is very organised. So I turn up at this time, and they created a schedule for me for this fight. And hey, this is what you're going to do, and this is what you do. And I agree with it, and I go along with it, and that's it.
I've already interviewed Chris, just because of the way the scheduling worked out. Usually I get you first, but I got your opponent first this time. And I asked him, how do you see this fight breaking out or whatever? Explain to the folks at home how you see Tom Watson. He goes, we're both very durable fighters. And that can be either super exciting or very systematic, meaning that like you guys will start to pick each other apart. It's going to be very slow, very methodical process of trying to think about it, because it's tough to beat a durable guy. It's tough to beat a guy that can take a lot of punches and give a lot of punches back. It's tough to beat a guy like that because he won't go away. How do you feel about Chris as a competitor? Do you think he's durable as well, or do you see him in a different light?
No, yeah, for sure he's very durable. I mean, he's never been knocked out, and he's fought some tough fights. And from the fights I've seen him in, he pretty much, I'm going to say, I think as an athlete, he's kind of limited compared to most of the guys in the UFC. I don't think he's the most explosive guy. I don't think he's the most talented athletically, but he will just walk someone down. And a lot of the guys he's fought by the third round are exhausted, and he's still pushing the pace. And I think the problem with him in this fight is he's done well in most of his UFC fights with guys that try to take him down. Guys that come forward and they try to take him down and they get tired. And I don't see that he's fought that many guys that get in his face and throw leather with him, his kind of style. So, yes, is it easy to be durable when you're fighting grapplers? I don't think it's that difficult. So we'll see how durable he is if it comes to a striking exchange.
You've been touted as a kickboxer. It's kind of like your MO in your bio sheet. But you're not really a kickboxer. You've kind of developed and morphed from all those years ago when you first started fighting. If somebody was to ask you, what kind of fighter are you now? After such a long career, having fought so many, as many guys as you have, what would you tell people that you are now as a competitor?
Yeah, just an MMA fighter, and I think I have a pressure style that. I think one thing I can do very well is work in the clinch. And I think a lot of guys still in MMA, they might be a great wrestler and they're looking to take you down, or they're looking to strike, but they're not doing both things at the same time. And I think that's where I can be very dangerous. And I think some fights I got away from that, and I tried to necessarily have a kickboxing fight, which, as you mentioned, I don't think is really my style anymore. I think it's more of I need to mix it up and grind on people and be sort of a striker in an MMA fight.
So what happened in the Natal fight? Like, what happened in that fight where you end up losing the decision? It didn't kind of seem like that. I want to say from the couch, it looked like the game plan was a little bit flawed. Like the way you executed your game plan looked like it was a little bit flawed. Did it just not work? Was the game plan not correct? Or did you revert back to that old style of like, crap, I'm just going to try and hit this guy and not really mix it up too much?
Yeah, I mean, that fight for me I find really difficult to analyse, because that is probably the most frustrating fight I've ever had, in that I just couldn't do nothing in there. I don't know. I don't like to look at fights and think there is an excuse of, I was sick or I was overtrained or this and that. Like, that's all a lot of bullshit to me. So I left that fight and I felt like I had no explosion to do anything. I was just there in front of him, but I wasn't really doing anything. It's the only fight really where I felt like I was never going to win that fight at any point. There was nothing I did that was ever going to. So that was a really difficult fight for me. And I think that was also something that maybe changed the move of, why am I fighting kind of that style? Because I didn't really, I mean, you could say game plan as you mentioned, but I don't know. There was just something. It just didn't feel that fight just really felt like I didn't do anything in that fight whatsoever. There was nothing, so it was very frustrating for me, that last fight.
Yeah, I mean, when you're describing it, your body mechanics, everything, just you right now describing it, was like you can tell that you're frustrated even talking about it.
Yeah, because it's a bit like, I remember a long time ago when I fought Jesse Taylor at MFC, it's a similar fight in that I left the fight and I thought, took no damage there. But that fight, I can at least pinpoint that I didn't have the wrestling to deal with him, so I was just surviving. So, whereas this last fight, I really don't think he was an opponent that fight should have gone like that for me. It should have been, I really should have grinded him out, or he would have took more risks. It wasn't. He's someone to me that gets tired in every fight, and he didn't even get tired in that fight.
It could have been a little bit of overtraining. Could have been any number of things. Things that there's a number of things that go into an athletic event that most folks at home don't know about. They're trying to prep. You have to prep at the right time and get the right rest. Everything's got to come together in this perfect magical basket for you to walk inside that cage to have a perfect night. And just none of us have ever fought 100%. It's just not how it works. There's always something wrong. In your mind, what was the best fight? Win or loss doesn't make a difference. Like, what was the best that you ever were as a competitor, ready for that fight, preparation wise? What was the best fight you've had so far?
In the UFC, I think against both the fights that I won, Nedkoff and Sam Alvey, I think Nedkoff mentality was definitely there. Like the mentality in that fight was. It wouldn't have mattered if he had a shotgun with him. I'd have still walk through them. And I just think that mentality with my style it just wasn't there. I don't know in Vegas, the last fight, what really happened, but it's extremely frustrating for me to have that fight.
I do believe, after, obviously watching you for years as a competitor, that your walk down, grinding, always in your face, even when you're not striking, but that constant pressure when you're on somebody and they're always worried about you hitting them to the body or knee them to the body or banging them to the head inside that clinch is your best style. And sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. And it's like, it's not a mental case, it doesn't seem like to me. Like, it's not a mental thing where you're just like mentally checking out of the fight. It seems like that sometimes your coaches don't know, or your former coaches didn't know that, oh yeah, this guy's got to grind. So we have to make him grind the entire training camp to make him be in a position where he's got to go. In Blackzilians, the team kind of has a grinding style. It kind of fits right in with what they do. So I can see you being very comfortable very early at Blackzilians, where a lot of people might take two, 3 training camp cycles before they actually feel fully comfortable. Who have been your main training partners for this, and are they helping you really have to be in that grind position the entire time?
Really, since the Camozzi fight got announced, it's just trying to work with southpaws. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys out here that are southpaws. There's a good guy from England that's come out here that's 12-1, fights at 170, but knocked out Wallhead in his last fight. It's a good striker. He's a southpaw, so but there's a lot of guys giving good looks, and Henry's style is kind of, look, it doesn't matter if you're fighting a southpaw or orthodox. You need to be comfortable in yourself. So just train with these guys and do these things, and then. But they have a lot of guys here. I mean, that was the one thing with Rain that was difficult with sparring days. A lot of guys would be there, but a lot of times I found myself just training with Pat, and if Pat didn't have a fight or wasn't around, it was like I was looking for somebody to train with, and it's not enough of a style to encompass all the different people that compete in MMA. I mean, it's great if I'm going against a big guy that's a Olympic style wrestler, but other than that, it doesn't really fit into a lot of the guys I was fighting against, which maybe could be another reason. Natal, how he moves, did I have enough of that look? I don't know. So I think out here it's just a lot of guys, and I think a lot of less focus on so much what they're doing. You need to be doing this. Just no, this is what I'm going to do, and you need to get in that style, and you need to just perfect your own game, and let's go and do that.
That's Tom Watson getting ready to fight Chris Camozzi, come up here on UFC Fight Night 73. Tom, thanks so much for coming on here. Congratulations on the move to Blackzilians. It's a big step, and it's tough to go, I got to get out of my apartment and move to some other apartment and move halfway across the country. That's not even my country to try to start a train.
I mean, the thing is, if someone's not broken, whatever, but, look at the last fight, there's a lot of shit that's broken, and this is my job, this is what I'm doing, so I can sit there and think, I need to be comfortable, we should go here, fuck it, if I need to move halfway across the country or halfway across the world, that's what I've got to do, so.
Good for you. It's a big step in the right direction. Of course, I'm a little biased because now Neil Melanson is down there beating on you every day, and Neil's my old grappling coach, so it definitely lets me know that you're at least getting a good grappling set out there. You're for sure going to have enough wrestlers, for sure, out there in Blackzilian. So congratulations on the move. Good luck. It's going to be a great fight. I think this is one of the better fights on the card. I think it's going to be a lot of standing in the middle of the canvas and swinging punches and see who can hit first and hit harder first. It's going to be a great, exciting fight for the fans, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your training camp, buddy.
All right, no worries. Bye.